Hello everybody, welcome back to the Panel by Panel Comics YouTube channel with me, your host Jay. Today is my Panel by Panel Comics review. We have 11 books to talk about today, so let's go ahead and get right into it. But before we get started, if you guys enjoy nearly daily comic book content all throughout the week, go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well, so you never miss out on my daily, on my panel by panel comic reviews, my top 10 upcoming books, my new comic book day vlogs, as well as my buy and sells on Friday. But guys, let's go ahead, get this one started with Void Rivals. This is coming in at the bottom. This is issue number 29, 32 pages, $4 for this comic book, part of the Energon universe. This is part 5 of 6 of the Quintessence War. And in my personal opinion, it just feels like nothing is really happening in this book. Like the main thing that happened was Zerta Tryon basically pleading for I guess just a extension of her life from oh my gosh, I'm blanking out on the name. Vector Theta. That's what they are doing. Zerta Tryon trying to get her new life. While the Quintessence War is happening, we have Pythona basically trying to escape from the Quintessence, and the Agorians are battling themselves as well, trying to make it through with the Tribunal, the Quintessence Tribunal. It's been pretty crazy what they've been having to go through. I am just starting to get, like, I'm just bored. I'm kind of bored of the Quintessence War. It's really cool. It looks great, but it feels like this was a too long of an overarching arc. It feels like they're just trying to fill in different areas. It feels like it's a repetitive story over and over. It's just, oh, here's this thing that's going to come and kill all the Agorians and Zertonians. Oh, here's this thing that's going to come kill the Agorians and Zertonians. We had the Quintessence initially get there, and then they send the Sharkticons, then they send the Quintessence Tribunal. Now they have the Quintessence Tribunal actually kidnap and abduct Darok. I learned that's actually how you say his name. It's not Derek, it's Darok. Kind of like The Rock, but Darok. Kind of interesting, never knew that, but Robert Kirkman makes sure that everybody knows that at the end with his Quintessence letters. We get some more of Pythona basically escaping. And then we also see Celila and Zalilik rejoin the fight with the Zertonians. That ends up going somewhat well for them. Obviously, Celila is just happy to be alive at this point. I kind of want to see Celila and Darok come together again, because I feel like that's whenever this book is at its best. When Celila and Darok are together, their energy and the chemistry that they have with each other, the way that Robert Kirkman writes them, I feel like personally that is whenever this book is its best. And then at the end, we see what could potentially happen. The tribunal sentences them, says that they're innocent, but it doesn't look like they're very innocent. But Void Rivals, issue number 29, for me personally, I gave a C+. I'm still looking forward to the finale of the Quintessence War. I just want it to be a little bit better, but I assume that the finale is going to be fantastic. Next, we have the Infernal Hulk. Probably surprising, y'all. This is issue number 6, 32 pages, $5 for this book. Ultimately, this book is pretty simple. It's a fight between Hulk and the Hulkbuster armor. Cool fight, had some cool moments. Tony and Reed tried to come up with a plan to sink the Hulk's whole city to the Earth's core. It doesn't work. We learned pretty quickly that this city is pretty indestructible, as well, just like the Infernal Hulk is as well. It's pretty cool. I like the idea of it. It was a cool concept. Yet again, this story kind of feels like it's just lingering. It's cool moments. I like to see Hulk fight these different things every other issue or every single issue. We saw him fight the Living Tribunal already, or the One Above All. That's pretty cool. I just want to see Bruce Banner again. I know that there's kind of hinting at Bruce Banner returning to Hulk in the previous issue. I just want to see some more of that. Hellbuster did good to pierce the Infernal Hulk, but it did not last long, as the Infernal Hulk basically just ate it and threw it right back at Hulk, or right back at Tony. Luckily, Tony didn't die, because that would have been absolutely crazy. But they used this device to try to explode the city and bring it down to its Earth's core, and it did not work. Tony instead got flew back by these pterodactyls. But we see that there might be potentially somebody coming after Infernal Hulk. I'm not quite sure who it is, but who knows? It looks interesting. I mean, I'm always going to continue to read this story while it's out, but this month's issue of the Infernal Hulk, I gave a solid B. Not the best, not the worst, but it could be a lot better and could be improved upon. Next, we go over to Dark Horse Comics. This is American Caper, issue number 6, 32 pages, $5 for this book. Yet again, it's really, really cool. I love the story building, but I do understand some people's complaints where it just feels like there's a ton of story threads right now and no overarching story. But I think this issue actually did a tremendous job at introducing and reminding you of the overarching story with William and his family. How Murney is cheating on him, how the sisters out in Brooklyn just trying to live her life and be, I guess woke is probably the way to say it. That's how they kind of describe it in this book. The brother's just doing himself, but it also tells you about what the FBI's plans are, and also what this character of Orson, the Mormon neighbor next door, what he's kind of going through. He basically finds this next task for somebody to kill from Aaron Olds. It looks like the most likely person that he's going to be killing next is Marty. We see him at the end of the comic go to Marty's ranch, and it kind of leaves on a cliffhanger. But then we go over to Brooklyn. We also find out just a completely side story about these two, I guess, former prisoners. I kind of forgot what their names are. It's basically a top and a bottom in a gay relationship. Not quite sure what their involvement is, but they're going to go work at the Wyoming ranch, Marty's Wyoming ranch, of course. Then we see William back at the opera, basically just wanted to kill himself. Was not having a good time, but the more important part of this story is him talking to his boss threatening his job, telling him what to do. Hey, if you don't do this, it's done. He goes back to his daughter. She was kind of getting angry at him at first. He texts his wife, like, hey, we're actually late on her rent. She's like, oh my gosh, he gambled it all away. I don't think he probably did gamble it all away, but it's still not, a good thing for her to want to kill him. And then we actually get a little heart-to-heart here with William and his daughter. She's really worried about him and just the whole family as a whole. The brother's kind of just been, I guess, relaying information to the daughter of what's going on back home. And it all sounds crazy. But we see that the FBI is really honing in, and they might target William next. So that'll be interesting in the next issue of American Caper, what the FBI choose to do with William. We see this cartel. They killed the dude that we saw at the previous issue who got really banged up and then he had to go back to the hospital. They basically chopped his nuts off and slit his throat. We'll see where that leads, but overall, American Caper, it's always just such a fun read. It goes by so fast. It feels like you're watching an actual episodic TV show. American Caper still came in at 9th. I gave it a solid B. One of my favorite books that I look forward to every month. It's just so good. Highly recommend it. Next, we have The Sentry. This is issue number 2, 32 pages, $5. And this is just a really sad book. We start with The Sentry basically talking to Reed about this crystalline device, or I guess crystallic structure that's just been building and causing havoc all throughout the world. Can't really find out what's happening, but then we get an update on Kingpin. His businesses are all just bursting into flames for reasons that I think is kind of obvious. It's the Void probably doing all of this, as he's kind of pinpocketed that that's the person that they're going to do all this, I guess, evilness to, the Void. But the Kingpin has Ebola. What? Kingpin is dying of Ebola. He's bleeding everywhere, and he paid this hospital like $100 million to keep it under wraps and heal him up while he's in this terrible state. And then we cut back to Sentry talking to his dog because he's sad that his dog is dying of cancer, and everybody's like, you're the Sentry, you can just take it out of him and you can basically heal him up. But he's like, you know the repercussions of that. I can't do it because then he comes out. Really sad. We continue with the crystalline structure. It got onto Hulk and it's driving him crazy. He's just basically angry at the world right now. Sentry does everything that he can trying to plunge the crystals out of him. He eventually does do that and frees the Hulk of this crystalline structure. They have a little heart-to-heart with the dog. Then the girlfriend of the Sentry comes to him and is talking about what's going on, or at least the AI voice. And she basically, the AI voice can't tell her a whole lot, but moral of the story is The Sentry feels like he is always the Void. Like he's no longer ever Sentry. The Void is just in control 24/7. It's really, really sad, and it's also kind of terrifying because everybody knows how powerful the Void is, and especially if you watch the most recent Thunderbolts movie. This is really good. It's always a good, just slow-paced, emotional read, so I really appreciate it every week. It's a solid B plus from me. The Sentry, I highly recommend you guys either jump on board or wait for this miniseries to end and buy the trade of it. Next, we go over to DC. We have Absolute Flash, issue number 14, 32 pages, $5 for this book. Wally and Linda, they get trapped in this mirrorverse, and they see these different areas. They also see these murder clones chasing after them, so they run away, try to escape. Wally's carrying Linda everywhere. The coolest part about this book is, as they go into the mirrorverse, the book turns upside down, so you actually have to turn it upside down to read it, and you read it manga style from left to right. So this is the beginning, and this is the end. So cool. I don't know if anybody else has read a comic book that's tried to integrate this idea, but I haven't, and I thought it was really cool. We also get an update on Linda. Hasn't seen her brother in 2 years, but then she sees him and looks like he's in a really bad way, doing a ton of drugs and not living life to the best that he probably should be or could be. Wally gets mad because he sees his dad. That's also never a good thing. That caused a pretty extreme outbreak of emotion to him. The murder clones then find them after he smashes the glass, and we go right back into regular comic book form. Go back to the real world where there's the real Mirror Master there. I always forget what his name is, but he pulled them out of the Mirrorverse. His name is Sam Scudder. And he's basically like, hey, you're going to help me, and there's nothing that you can do about it. I'll help you get back to your dad, but you got to go find Eleanor Thawne. You need to bring her to me because she's the only one that can save me and reset my life and make me a normal person again. And he's like, well, I got to go back to the Mirrorverse because if I don't go back ever so often, I'm going to die. So it kind of leaves Wally and Linda in a bit of a tough spot. They don't know what to do. They're like, well, we got to go find Ray Palmer because that's who this dude told us to go find. So we're going to get Ray Palmer, which means we might get Captain Atom or Mr. Atom. I always forget. Atom Smasher. But we see that maybe there's an evil Wally and evil Linda trapped in the Mirrorverse. That's such a cool little Easter egg that might come back later for Jeff Lemire. Absolute Flash was a little bit slow at the beginning, but it's really started to ramp up. It's starting to climb up there with some of the best Absolute books. This was a solid B plus for me this week. Absolute Flash, Jeff Lemire are killing it right now. I am loving that story. Now we continue with DC, but we have the regular Flash. This is issue number 32, 5 pages for 32 pages, $5. Sorry, kind of threw me off that it's 32 pages and issue number 32. But we continue this story with Wally, basically Wally the Flash, continuing to save people as they continue to jump off of the edge of cliffs, step in front of trains, do whatever that they want to try to get this money that this person is paying them to put themselves in danger. He's having a really tough time trying to keep up with it, and it's really messing with his at-home life with his kids and Linda. And I know a ton of people are appreciating Ryan North for incorporating the family side. They were, a little worried about not getting that, especially with the Mark Waid run of The Flash all the way up until Ryan North took over. So I'm sure a lot of people are appreciating this. We get introduced to Captain Cold, or reintroduced, because he basically jumps off of a bridge or off of a building, and they're like, Wally's like, okay, he's going to save himself. Well, he actually didn't have his gun, so Wally had to go and save him, and Captain Cold's like, this was the only way to get your attention. We don't exactly exchange contact info. So they have a conversation, and Captain Cold's like, somebody's been planning this. I know you thought you had the person, but it's not who you think it is. He's getting funded by somebody else. Somebody else is the real person in charge of this, whatever situation you want to call it. So Wally, he tries to get ahead of everything, tries to save people before they do it, because he's been getting these flash, I wrote it in my notes, I kind of forget what he says, flashes of insight, visions basically. That's just his fancy way of saying it. And he tries to save these people before it happens, but he was too late to one, did not get there, and a kid got hit by a train. Luckily, they lived, but he just wasn't fast enough, and it's not good I guess, publicity for Wally. But then Flash and Wally and Captain Cold team up and they find what has been happening. Linda was telling them that while you've been away doing all this quick stuff, there's been heists going on. People are stealing these items. I believe it starts with a U, uranium, and it looks like they're about to make a nuke. And at the end of this issue, it leaves with Wally finding a ticking time bomb, and it looks like a nuke might blow up Central City. This was a really, really good issue of The Flash. Is he going to be fast enough to save Central City? I don't know, but I gave that book a solid B+. So many great books this week. It's hard to really decipher them among all the other great books that came out as well. But this next one is also going to be a really good book, and I highly recommend that you jump on. It's Wade Wilson Deadpool, issue number 3, coming in at number 5, 32 pages for $4. That definitely kind of benefits it as well, its rating, that it's a whole dollar less than some of these other books I'm going to be talking about. This issue follows Wade Wilson still finding these omens and saving people's lives right before it happens. It's kind of cool, and he's like, well, if it's this, it's the X-Men. If it's this, it's the Avengers. If it's this, it's Cosmic. It's the Fantastic Four. If it's some random person that's just going to get shot from a gang-related activity, well, then that's Deadpool. And then he saves this dude, this Mook or whatever, from getting shot and killed in a river and having his body flown around. Saves them. And also I find interesting, in the middle of this issue, Al calls Deadpool and she's like, hey, are you coming back? We gotta hate watch these soap operas. And Wade Wilson, Deadpool, he's like, yeah, you don't have to worry about me. I've got a good thing going, and if I can keep it up, I'll be able to move out of your sad, crappy apartment. You'll get your life back. Gotta go. And he hangs up. And before he hangs up, or after he hangs up, Big Al, or Sad Al, whatever you want to say, I always forget her name, Al says, but Wade, I never asked for that. And it's really sad because you see that she's loves him or really appreciates his company, because we don't really know a whole lot of backstory with Al. And I feel bad because she really appreciates having his company now. And Wade Wilson probably doesn't feel that attached to her. It's kind of sad, but then Hammerhead gets there and he blows up Wade Wilson after he kind of tried to demand that he pay him to kill this person. Instead, they shoot and kill the other person and kidnap Wade Wilson as well. Wade Wilson is tied up by Hammerhead. They start carving him up, and he's basically like, I don't care. You can do this all I want. I really don't give a F. But then we cut back, a flashback of why he doesn't care anymore. We kind of find out what happened about Ellie. They were on this trip, this job, they took it together, and there was a whole bunch of other mercs on the plane as well. And she didn't have a good feeling about it. Wade Wilson and Ellie, basically, they find this grandma and this baby. They take him to the bathroom. He blows it up so that they can go down with the luggage. And whenever they're down there, she gets held at gunpoint. And it looks like the granny was another evil person and an evil mercenary there as well. Who knows? Maybe she got shot in the back of the head. Not quite sure. But Wade Wilson gets out of there after Hammerhead threatens Al's life. It basically ignites something in him to go after Al and help out and make sure that Hammerhead can't do anything as an omen washes up across the yacht. This is really good. Benjamin Percy killing it. The comedy was really good in this issue, as well as the seriousness and also the authenticity. It really shines in this book. Really good from Benjamin Percy. Another solid B+ book for Marvel this week. I thought it was a really good book for Marvel outside of probably the Infernal Hulk, even though that whole series has been tremendous in my opinion. Next, we go back to DC. We have Absolute Wonder Woman. This is issue 19, 32 pages, $5. We get a moment at the very beginning between Cersei and Aphrodite where she has to leave, and she tells Cersei it's because, well, now Diana, she has the same ability as me. Anytime that we see each other or we get too attached, not necessarily too attached, but anytime they're around somebody too much, they fall for them as well as they fall for them. Basically vice versa, they all fall for each other. And she kind of feels like this is going to be a bit of a hindrance on Diana, but she hopes that she can cope through it and live with it. We cut back to Gateway City where all hell is still breaking loose. We see witches in Gateway City. Kind of cool. Never knew about that. Even Steve tags along and helps out with the witches protecting Gateway City. Diana continues her fight with Zatara, Zatanna's dad. Takes him with the rope of Troika. I believe that's what it's called, the lasso of Troika, and it shows all his fears and takes him to this place, and it sees that Zatara is actually just guilt. That's all it is. He's guilty for picking one side or the other, for going with his wife or going with his daughter. And then Zatanna shows up, pulls him back in, tells him, it's okay, I'm still here, and pulls him back to life, but then Diana is captured by the lasso of Troika. Meanwhile, Eleanor Thawne, or not Thawne, I kind of forget what the evil person in this book's name is. Anyways, they say, Giganta, you have failed your mission. You need to at least go get, that person right there, Dr. Barbara Minerva. So it looks like Giganta has kidnapped Minerva. And then we get back to the actual story of the plot. Zatara and Zatanna, they have a cool moment. And then it's also like, it feels like Zatanna and Diana really are getting a connection. I don't know if it's a loving connection, a lustful sensation. I don't know what it is, but I feel a connection brewing between them. Zatanna becomes her mother Cersei, or at least appears to be through magic, and drags Diana out of this fearful dimension because she couldn't go in there as Zatanna since she already went in there for her father. At least that was the loophole that they used. Zatanna gets Diana out of there. This is the moment I'm talking about. It's like, wow, it looks like they really could have kissed right there, made out, done something, hugged, not quite sure what, but you feel a lot of tension there. And then basically the Iron Maiden gets left out, and the Iron Maiden is coming for Zatara, but Diana's going to be there to help out, and it looks like that's what's going to be happening in the finale of this season of the Witch art for Absolute Wonder Woman. A great book by Kelly Thompson. It's always good. Hayden Sherman's artwork and the paneling is so good. I always look forward to the different paneling from Hayden Sherman. The artwork makes this book even better. This is my first A- book of the week. Tremendous stuff with Absolute Wonder Woman as per usual. We continue on with another DC book. We have Superman. This is issue number 37, 32 pages, $5 for this book. We see CK Prime continues to try and prove that he's a good person. He has dinner or brunch with Ma and Pa Kent, basically kind of telling them that they're dead in a whole bunch of different timelines and that Mark Waid wishes that they still were dead. It basically makes them a little worried. Like, okay, what is he planning? What's going to happen? Is he here to kill us? Who knows? But then he's like, well, I'm not. And the Justice League are there, whoever is there, just to make sure that nothing happens. And he feels kind of pressured. And he's like, I don't want, they want me to mess up. They expect me to mess up. I want to prove to everyone that I can be better, that I can do the right thing. It's really sad. We cut back to him basically having a story where he met this girl at the comic store. Really important. She's going to come back later. But then the owner of the comic store is like, hey, you're up for Employee of the Month. I understand that you're very passionate. I love that passion. You just got to be on time tomorrow. You've been late a ton. I don't know what it is. I don't care what you do outside of this. You just got to be here on time tomorrow. And I'm sorry. It looks like I'm sweating. I mean, it's because I am. My room's getting a little hot right now. But the day continues. He goes and sightsees, I guess, goes to Crime Alley, goes to the spot where Martha and Wayne were killed, and Robin comes in, Damian Wayne, and he's like, why are you here? What are you doing? What are you planning? Basically what he's been talking about the whole time. People expect him to fail. They expect him to do something crazy. It's a little unfortunate, but then he helps him out, and Clayface is the villain for this issue. Kind of interesting seeing Clayface in a Superman comic. Dan Mora draws him to perfection. The art is always A1 with Superman and Dan Mora. So we continue. They help them find a bomb that was going to explode under Gotham City and make everybody into clay. And then we kind of get this little section of, yet again, another vision from CK/Prime, where he kills like Blue Beetle, goes on an outrage, and he's like, no, this is not supposed to happen. This is not what is going on. And then he passes out and he lands. He's like, hey, what's going on? And by the way, I don't just do it because of I do whatever. Wait, I lied before when you asked me about my rep. I do care. He said that he didn't care before. He says now, I do care. It took people not judging me by my worst moments, but change wasn't easy. It took time. You just need to keep trying. But the only bad thing is he showed up late to the comic book store and doesn't get Employee of the Month. And he's like, I saved Gotham. I made a new friend, but I really wanted that Employee of the Month. And it's silly, but that was important to me. And now I can't even come here to see you without the Justice League watching me like a hawk. You have any idea what it's like to have so many people expect you to fail? To know that no matter what, how hard you try, they only see your mistakes. That basically puts a spark in Ma Kent, goes to have a word with the Justice League, tells them, hey, y'all need to leave this dude alone. There's no way that he's going to grow if y'all are watching him like this. So they leave, but then we see, oh, that woman from the comic book shop. Yeah, that's Witchfire, and she plans to bring Superboy Prime as their sacrifice. I can't wait to see how that's going to go down. There's no way it goes easy or good for Witchfire. Really good book, always one of the best that comes out anytime it does, every other month, or every single month. Superman issue number 37, I gave an A. There were so many good books this week, and it continued with my number 2 pick, Captain America, issue number 9. Nick Fury basically declared Cap AWOL and says, hey, we need to do something about this. But Cap, he's recruiting people to his mission, tells Alina Von Doom what happened, the 400 plus people that Salvation has already killed. And she feels really heartbroken, and he's like, hey, we need you to be the voice of this. We can only be the muscle. We need somebody to be the voice, and they're not going to listen to somebody with an American shield. So they go protesting, they go all throughout the streets, and he basically says that Alina needs to be the voice of this revolution. S.H.I.E.L.D. also splits up because some view it as American unnecessarianism or American interventionism, and others are like, I can't just sit around and watch people die. So the S.H.I.E.L.D. split up on this issue, even with Widow and that dude splitting up because they're really connected with each other, but they do have differing opinions. We continue on. The revolution continues to grow some pace. Cap takes the fight to Salvation, with Alina being the voice, but soldiers get to her and most likely kill her, but we hear a bang. We don't see a dead body. So who knows what happened with Alina? Meanwhile, the other S.H.I.E.L.D. members are going to get the weapon from who was Victor Von Doom's right-hand man. Hopefully they got the weapon from him. We see a potential death, but Salvation meets Captain America and says, let Salvation, it'll be your doom, or something like that. And let Salvation be your doom. This is really good. It's growing to the Armageddon event coming in June. This is really good. Chip Zdarsky continues to grow every single issue. I love that we get another issue of this next week. It's definitely going to be on my top 10 most anticipated, especially because it was so good this week. That comes in as a solid A. But it wasn't my pick of the week. You guys are probably going to be really surprised by this pick of the week. Some of y'all probably have never heard of this book. Some of y'all are like, what even is this? I've never even heard of that publisher. It's The Beauty, issue number 5 from Ignition Press. 32 pages, $5. Now, when I first looked at this in the comic book store, I saw the artwork. I was like, yeah, this is not what I'm used to with The Beauty. It looks disgusting. The people look completely weird. Why does it look like that? And that's the point. This is just a side story. It's not part of the main story. It's just a filler story. But it's so good. The artwork fits its tone perfectly. The writing is so good. Might be the best I've ever read from Jeremy Hahn. I'm being so serious. This is such a good book. But it focuses on this guy named Jaime. And we see him pass out in a field. You'll realize why that is later. You realize his life story, you live through it, you see how and why he wanted the beauty. He was with his girlfriend, they had a great life, they did it with this dude who was one of their best friends. They contracted the beauty, I guess STD, but then you start to feel them grow apart from each other. And it all came to a spiraling point where he asked the question, I try not to ask, but I did, are you thinking about him? They got into an argument while driving. He yanks at the wheel, and they got into a car crash. And basically after that, they weren't the same. They both lived, but they were not the same. Hates the beauty, and he makes himself look as ugly as he thinks he is on the inside. It's so sad the way to think of yourself like that, to make yourself look as ugly as you think you do, even though in my opinion he just had a bad moment and he made a really bad life mistake. You don't need to do stuff like this to punish yourself. It's really unhealthy for your mental state to do certain things like this. But anyways, he helps out his friends that he made at the tattoo shop, makes sure that the father of this kid doesn't do anything crazy, pulls a gun out, they basically help escape. He sacrifices himself. He's racing away. He's like, oh my gosh, I've got to do something. So he steps out of his car, shoots at them head on with the car racing straight at them. He says, see you soon. And well, moral of the story is he does not. They meet one-on-one. The car goes zooming over the hill and crashes, most likely to their deaths. Meanwhile, he gets shot a boatload of times, and we cut back to the very introduction of him passing out in that hill, in that grass. And honestly, I'm just going to read these last 2 pages. The world is an ugly place. I keep saying that. I made myself as ugly as I felt inside, and people still cared. In spite of it all, no matter how hard we try, we get hurt along the way. But that's okay. Wounds can heal, and that's beautiful. Wow. Such a good book. I mean, that's like comic book quote of the day. Shout out Speed Sultan if he ever hears this. But The Beauty, issue number 5, spectacular. This made me feel so emotional while reading it. I think I was starting to tear up. I don't know if one came out, but even just then I got chills reading that. That's why The Beauty is an A+ book this week. Issue number 5, pick of the week without a doubt. But guys, if you made it this far into the video, please go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share with your friends if you enjoy comic book content all throughout the week. And guys, remember, keep reading those comics panel by panel, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for my top 10 books pulled for April 29th, 2026.